Okay, everyone, welcome World, welcome to Hero School. This is January 24th, 2015, in Tony Hsieh's Learning Village in downtown Las Vegas. Getting ready to start another historic event called Hero School, run by Tiger Todd, and the purpose is to help homeless people break the chains of homelessness. So, as we start in just a minute.
Good morning, everybody. Are you guys excited? You guys are excited. Let's try it one more time.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. That is way better. All right, so today, my name is LaQuan. I have the great honor of introducing you guys to Hero School today. I pray that you guys are ready for a phenomenal, fabulous, exciting day for change, excitement, opportunity, and all sorts more things that I just can't put into a sentence or word at this point in time. However, it is my honor and pleasure to be up here and welcome you guys to an exciting day. This is Hero School. I see some familiar faces in the crowd. More than anything, I see some beautiful new faces, which is very much exciting to have some faces in the crowd. You guys are in a fabulous place. You guys are, you go ahead and put the snow today. You have time to get ready for a wonderful day. It's going to be a fabulous time. However, now I get the opportunity of introducing a good friend of mine who's going to teach you guys on a past course of life, all types of greatness. This man is a great man, and I'm honestly honored to be able to introduce this man. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you, Sir Moses.
How's everybody?
Well,
Good? Yeah. You guys hear me back there? Everybody can hear me pretty well?
yeah, I already have a loud voice. I don't even know if I need this, but can you guys hear me back there? Yeah. Do I think I need this guy?
Yeah. No.
I do need it.
Put some bacon.
Just by a round, again, my name is Moses. That's what most people call me. My name is Silent Moses. Very good. Very good. No. Just by a round of, let me see a show of hands. How many people here are currently right now homeless? All right, thank you. How many people here right now are currently jobless? A lot of you. How many of you here right now are working class poor? Like you're working, but not paying your bills. Okay. All right. Well, all right. First and foremost, let's give it up for Hero School. Let's give it up for everyone who comes out and does what they do to make this possible. Let's give it up for Kim. As well as Tiger Todd. Give it up for Tiger Todd. Hey guys, I'm going to be a little honest with you. I just recently doing this public speaking. This is probably the 6th time I've spoken to a crowd, but I've spoken to closely about 1,700 people so far. And I got to be completely honest, if I screw up a little bit, my voice gets shaky, it's because I'm still new at this, so just bear with me guys. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
You all right? Okay. Thank you, appreciate it. So I got to be honest as well. Absolutely love Hero School. Love what they do for you guys, working class poor, homeless, jobless, etc. Hopeless. But I'm not here for Hero School. I absolutely love Kim. I'm not here for Kim either. I love Tiger Todd. Not like that though. Not like that. And I'm not here for Tiger Todd either. I'm not even here for myself. I'm not even here for all of you. The reason I'm here is I'm here for one of you. I'm here for the one that's going to hear something today and is going to make a change and make a decision to change their lives today. Not tomorrow, today. I'm here for the one person that's going to hear something and it's going to click, where everything that they've gone through up to this point in their lives makes sense, because it's going to lead them to that decision to take action. That's what I'm here for. So if you're the one, I'm done with my speech, be sure to come up and shake my hand and say, Moses, I'm the one. I'd like to read something to you guys. Since I need the mic, I wasn't prepared. The following sentence, by far, is the hardest sentence I ever had to write in my entire life. Sorry. It's now been 1 week since I've been homeless. I have one bag, 2 shirts, 1 pair of pants, and 1 pair of socks. I'm surviving on $5 a day for the past 7 days. $5 a day being split between a lunch, dinner, and breakfast. Now, if you're doing your math, and trust me, I am, you'll notice that that $5 a day being split between 3 meals is just $1.66 a meal. That doesn't include tax. I walk around all day with nothing but loose change in my pants in the form of rolled up nickels, dimes, and pennies. Yeah, piggy bank money. Change that otherwise is deemed discarded, thrown away on the ground, pointless to you. Makes a difference in my life, but there's a difference between eating and not eating. Why? Because it's what's feeding me. Your loose change is otherwise deemed useless. You now find too much trouble to bend over and pick up after you've dropped what I've been collecting to save up 79 cents to eat something. I never thought that this would happen to me. Before the economy took a nosedive, I had a Boston concierge agency. I had 7 employees working for me. I flew on private jets, drove Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and lived in a great part of town. I should have seen this coming, because since then I had to downsize and downgrade a lot. I downgraded, but I didn't complain. We have to wait this thing out, I told myself. Everything will get better. You'll see. Rewind just 2 months ago after the downgrade. I was living in a small bedroom condo, okay part of town, sharing 1 car with my girlfriend at the time, complete wall-to-wall carpet, gated community, modern appliances, social club, gym, pool, jacuzzi, 24/7 security. I mean, I had standards, and I had the things that I liked. Those things I was unwilling to give up. I had a beautiful woman at the time, partner, person, and friend. I had a beautiful 9-month-old son I was there for at birth, whom I had the pleasure of waking up to every day. I also had a bed. Yeah, funny, a bed. I remember those things, but anyway, I also remember changing his diaper, feeding him, and teaching him how to walk. I love those moments with him. Again, I had a car with my ex, it was really hers. I had lost mine due to a repo. And the job that paid the bills, where I was managing a call center making $650 a week. Today, well, they chose to fire me. Now, I'm looking for dinner in garbage dumpsters. As I catch myself reminiscing once again, at this point, it's really all I got is reminiscing. Plus, it helps me keep my mind off the fact that I'm eventually going to be eating someone else's throwaway. I have to be honest, at this time, for a guy who wants to go on private jets, owns his own successful business, I hated working for someone else, and the most part, I hated being lonely. I hated the fact that I barely had enough money for anything outside of bills when I was working, except for diapers and rent. I remember being pissed about only making $650 a week, and I do mean pissed. I remember, not that I had any idea at the time, but what I was eating was actually a blessing. Even if it was just a tomato, lettuce, ham sandwich. I should have appreciated $6.50 a week, not just the money. Absolutely nothing now. Nothing says I failed like looking for dinner in someone else's garbage can. Now that I'm eating a garbage can, collecting change on the ground to eat something that's covered in roaches, what do I do? Now that I've failed, now what? Sorry guys, I still get emotional when I read it. I remember like it was yesterday. That was my story. Because basically it was yesterday. It was January of last year. I was homeless. No, about a year ago. It didn't happen 5 years ago, it didn't happen 10 years ago. It was literally just 12 months ago. So I learned a lot since then. I learned a lot. Learned a lot about life, gratitude, being humble, appreciating the smaller things in life. There is something pretty unique, and I'm speaking straightly to those who are homeless right now. There's something really unique about diving in a dumpster for food. It is. It really is. As much as you try to convince yourself that you're somewhere else, it doesn't work. You still know you're eating someone else's throwaways. You're finding it in a garbage can. It's tough. But even at that point, you had thought that maybe that was rock bottom for me. It wasn't. It was just the realization that rock bottom was coming. See, the day that they had thrown us out, the night before, I called my friend with a truck, and he came over. We packed his truck up with some of my belongings, threw some stuff in the bed, and we drove it over to storage. I didn't have a big storage. Storage is basically 10 by 12. You throw a bed in there and a dresser, and that's all you got. And the next morning, I didn't get much sleep. We packed and threw stuff in the storage until about 3 a.m. in the morning. And my son at the time was 9 months, so he's still waking up during the night. And, not that he needs a bottle or anything, he usually changed, he's too old for that now. But, he was waking up just to make sure we were still there. And I'd wake up, my head would hit the pillow, wake up, my head would hit the pillow, wake up, walk away to his crib, shake a little bit, go right back to sleep. And one time I actually was able to fall asleep. Boom, 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 boom. I knew who it was. I didn't want to answer it, because inevitability was on the other side of that door. This is my place, not anymore. So, I made my way back to the bedroom. My ex was at the time. I said, they're here. She knew what I was talking about. I didn't need to explain. She was lucky enough that night to make a bag for herself. I didn't get that chance because I was packing and throwing stuff in the storage. I did go make a bag for my son really quick. I didn't have a chance to make a bag for myself. As soon as I got into the closet, started making a bag for myself, constables made their way to the bedroom and said, you have to leave. That's why I only had 2 pairs of pants, 3 shirts, and 1 pair of socks. Walked out. They actually escorted us out of the apartment, walked us down to the curb, and we then sat there and the both of us cried. He basically told me, I know this is a hard situation for you, but myself and your son, we're going left. I suggest that you go right. I suggest that you go right. I know what she was saying. We're separated. She had enough of the failure. It wasn't. You didn't think that was rock bottom, but it wasn't. She took off. She took off. And I took off to nowhere. Had no friends, no money, nothing. And I'm trying to cut this a little short. If you guys want to hear more of my story, I'll let you guys know. Just call me and I'll tell you. Eventually, I found rock bottom the day I called my mom. 2 weeks after being homeless, no money, no friends, no car, out of my ex, my girlfriend's time, lost my son, lost my house, my cars, everything's gone. I call my mom, and thank God my T-Mobile prepaid phone still worked at the time. I don't know why. I don't know why I was on. It's God. God was like, you need something here. So I called my mom and expected my mom, like all moms, to say, come home, I'll take care of you, I'll buy you a flight, I'll give you a warm meal, it's going to be okay. I broke down again for like the second time. I said, Mom, I'm eating out of garbage cans. It's been 2 weeks, can't take this anymore. I'm homeless. My mom said, why don't you go to a shelter? At this point, I realized I'm in this fight by myself. I'm in this fight by myself, and this was the point in my life where I made a decision. You guys today need to make that decision. Some of you are rock bottom, some of you aren't. Some of you didn't have to go through what I've gone through, and you're lucky you didn't have to. But today is your day. For whatever reason you're here today, that reason brought you here, and that reason is going to lead to a decision in which is going to improve your life. I guarantee it, as long as you put in the work. Not just going to happen to you because you're a nice person. Not just going to happen to you because you lost something. You have to work. That's what Hero School is, an opportunity for you to work, to improve your life, to get out of your situation, and to transcend and transform into something you were meant to be, which you know because you can feel it here. You know because you can feel it in here. Not in here, not here, in here. You know you were meant for more. Hero School is just for that reason only. Thank you. Do we have like 2 minutes for a Q&A or no? No? Okay. No? All right, so you want to go to? All right, so you heard it from the man himself. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to the one and only Mr. Tiger Time. One more time for Silo Moses.
All right, does this thing work? It does, great. I am just so pleased to see you here today. So pleased. How many of you in the room are human? Show of hands. Excellent. Great. I'll go my hands up too. Yeah, great. I do this in schools all over the country, and it's amazing to see. About 45% of America's young people are not human. Those hands don't go up. And no teachers, but you probably experienced that. Hero School is an odd class, but it's really it specializes in humans, and because we might talk about someone who's homeless or houseless or jobless, or you went through this and that, but you might not know in this very room we have CEOs, we have business partners of mine, we've got school teachers and college professors. Why? Because they're all human. And there's always something that we either need to know, or as many of you will find out today, is Hero School is fast. It might be the fastest 4-year university in the country. It has to be. Why? Because we don't have time to go do things again the wrong way. There is a dogged tendency, if you're a human, for history to repeat itself in your life. And we don't have time to take 2 steps forward and go 3 steps back and see the same day show up again. Right? Start a new job and you get to just so far, and then bam, same thing happens, and you're right back at square one, maybe with another employer or a new relationship. We've got to get to the promised land as fast as possible. But what you'll find today at Hero School is most of what you're going to hear today is stuff you already know, but you forgot. Maybe you let slip. Maybe you interpreted it based on how somebody else told you to see the world. And so Hero Schools today, this is about you. Now, people have asked, why Hero School? Why do we call it Hero School? We call it Hero School because we saw something happen in the movies. And we saw something happen in the movies 3 years after I retired from my business and helped about 9,200 homeless people get off the streets. Now, I know, Sal, you guys a lot of you raised your hands when you said you were homeless. I doubt very highly that you're homeless. So you might be houseless. But the reason why we're so good at helping people be free to live the lives they were meant for is because we have an entirely new definition for what it means to be homeless. And we're going to remind you of what never to do so that you never end up homeless and houseless. Sound fair? Does that sound reasonable? Okay. So humans. So let's talk for a minute. We're going to talk about movies in a moment. But if I'm going to ask you what it means to be human, or even what's the difference between humans and the animal kingdom, what are some of your answers?
Not much.
Opposable thumbs. What?
Not much.
Not much. Well, okay. And thank you all for coming. See you later. Yeah. All right. Okay. You know, J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series, she says it's imagination. She was giving actually a keynote address for Harvard, whatever, I think it was law school, graduating address, and she says imagination separates us. Apparently animals can't imagine. What else? What else you got? Yep, that. Yeah. Humans have the ability to change. Now that's weird. Here, I have a list. Hang on, I have a list. I have a list. Change for 1 second. I gotta read this list. Thank God for smartphones. Does that mean that they think we're dumb? Yes. Probably, yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. We will find out just how smart I'm not shortly. So I made a list this morning. Jotted down a few things of some famous people over the years. You know, usually they don't believe that you're smart until you've been dead 100 years. Right? So I'll have a moment of silence for Tupac. You know, but right? We'll bam mouth him until he's dead, and then we find out he delivers 10 albums post-mortem. Cheese, right? Makes Aristotle look like Socrates. Morons. All right. So one of the things. Here's a guy named Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said this. He said, all other life forms, I guess this includes trees, except human beings, strive to grow as much as they possibly can. A tree grows as much, as high as it possibly can. Right? Rabbits know how to be rabbits when they're born. Dogs know how to be dogs. And then we get human beings trying to get out of exercise. Why do we agree that exercise makes us stronger? I mean, is it true? I think Lucille Ball said it this way. She said, the more you do, the more you can do. It's actually my football coach in high school at the bar table. All right, so he said, if you do more push-ups every day, he said, the human body is the only thing that gets better the more you use it. Is that true? I mean, is it true that the more you do, the more you can do? Is it possible? Is it even possible? Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? All right, let's see what else we got. We got Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl wrote a book in the 1940s after surviving 4 Nazi concentration camps. You want to talk about not your fault? How many guys feel that someone's out there to get you? It's always something, right? And it's true, it's always something, but it's not just you. Right? I mean, do you think that some people just never go through stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's what you think. I say you need a healing. Take care of that. Cut that off before lunch. I was, quick story. So I was, I retired from my business in 1995 out of a chain of electronics stores. Walked up and down this line. I was just giving money, that's what you do when you're retired, you have money, is you start to want to help people. You know, oddly, you didn't help anybody before that day. It's like, I feel like Mr. Rogers, can you say, can you say CEO? Can you say rich bastard? Can you, it's a new word. No, I just, I saw a group, gave them some money to help the homeless. Didn't know there were homeless people. Ended up at Ethel Pearson Park in December 1995, where 1,854 homeless people were like, I counted them. Why? Because I was buying food. Oh, come on. Have you gone out to lunch and 2 other people invite themselves? Imagine you're buying them. So I just started asking them, where are you from? Right? Start to find out that not one of them was from Las Vegas. And that's something. Isn't that something? So here I go get this. So we created a class. Why? Because I heard 4 things that everyone in that line from somewhere else spoke that would have disqualified them from not just working for me, but from owning that business. See, one of the things about being a business owner, oh yeah, you have a job, have to have a paycheck. Government demands you get paid. You own a business, you might not get paid in 3 years. Government demands you pay your employees. I mean, there were years I was living out of the change in my ashtray. But I was never homeless. Why? Because a business owner has a different code, a different set of rules. Right? Like that movie, The Transporter, where he has those rules, right? Don't look at the package. Right? Don't change the deal. Right? I was going to share those 4 rules of entrepreneurship. I call them 4 laws of entrepreneurship in a little bit. But so I just found these 4 opposite habits that everyone in the line had. And so it got me thinking, right? So I created a class to teach just that, which became Hero School. We call it Hero School because something happens in the movies that doesn't happen in real life unless it happens in Hero School. I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen on purpose. You know, we see movies, we read stories, and yet few people can reverse engineer and tell you how they did it. They can tell you how they think they did it. They can't give you the math formula on how they actually did it. And at that time, those 3 years, I couldn't either. All I knew was we got 9,200 homeless people to change. They were no longer homeless. They were my state farm agents. They were game designers. They were all these different things, not homeless people. About 2002, now I'm retired. And if you've ever had a home and had kids, and you've ever had to buy the same thing you bought once again, because your kids broke the first one you bought, right? The horizontal blinds, right? They want to see who's out there. There's a system. There are rules, right? You turn the little, right? You do the, right, and then you can see who's there, right? Not to the teenager, because you, right? And then they break something that's $100. Well, just $100. There's $100 you exchanged a day of your life to get. Kill that kid. He's worth 101. Okay. So 2002, I had to retake my business. Turned it over to, I wasn't greedy, so I just turned it over to my faithful, loyal employees who then lost their mind. Reminded me of a Chris Rock episode on HBO. You've got a new credit card and lost your damn mind. Yeah. Remember when cell phones first came out? Oh, that's awesome, I'm going to call everybody. And you get that $750 bill. Right. And you fly below the radar for the next 3 or 4 years. Man, no way to be. So we're going to teach you how to make $7,500, so $750 is no big deal. Are you next? You're responsible. Sure. One less thing. And not lose 4 or 5 years. So anyway, I was about to lose my mind because I had to retake this business. And I didn't want to. I was a grown man being so whiny, so immature. And apparently I told a friend, I shouldn't have to be doing this again. Right? I built this business. And if you've ever whined to somebody and they say you need some help, here's a book. Here, read this book. Oh, you should read this book. Great. I don't want to read a book. Right? I want some miracle. Right? my son, I care about you, let me help you right now. Well, anyway, the book they recommended, I went out and bought, probably just to make them happy. And I remember driving around, and I actually remember where I was when I opened it on this certain day. And we have a film crew here, and I'm about to break the language barrier for public TV, but I believe it's Spanish, so they'll never know. Okay, so, and I'll never know. So, sure enough, here's what happened. But you're under pressure, right? By the way, I wasn't a Bible scholar, I wasn't raised religious, I was raised in North Las Vegas on Webb Street. Okay, so, but I eventually learned to be a Bible scholar because all of those 1,854 people in that line told me they were Christians. So, oh my God, what is this? You're from another state and you're Christians. I'm not going to talk to those other states. The church is in them.
Okay.
So I started reading the book, and so a lot of these things start to come up, and I said, well, it's right there in that book. You know, blind lead the blind, don't they both fall in the ditch?
Wait.
So I got this book, decided to read it, and I remember pulling into a McDonald's parking lot over on Eastern and near Robindale, and I pulled over, and I just was sitting there just still angry because probably the next phone call, some bad debt that my former staff incurred, I had to pay for. And so I just pulled over and I opened the book for the first time. I bought it a few days earlier, hadn't opened it. And I don't have the book here, but let's just pretend this is it. And it was M. Scott Peck's book, The Road Less Traveled. Who's heard of the book? Anybody? Yeah, The Road Less Traveled. It's got to be 35 years old now. It's one of these top books of the 70s or 80s. This was the 25th anniversary edition when I was having my little tea party. And I opened the book. I got to the first page, which is page 2. And here's the first line of the book. Dr. Peck begins, life is difficult. And I remember what I did. I just pulled out the pen, out of my pocket, I always carry a pen. And I wrote in the new second line of the book, no shit. And magically the book worked. I felt better. I felt better. But the argument that Dr. Peck tries to make, save you having to get past page 1 without laughing, is that not only is life difficult, it's supposed to be. And most of the pain and suffering we go through is because we expect it to be something else. Most of our torture isn't from the things that happen to us or around us. It's from our expectation that they shouldn't. And yet maybe my expectation of pain from working out, the reason why a lot of people don't do it, maybe the expectation of, having pain is why people quit. And yet, no, pain produces gain if done right. Right? The more you do, the more you can do. Right? The one sitting on the sofa watching football on DirecTV does not get to be paid to play football. That takes getting off the sofa and doing exercises, things you don't want to do. So again, Scott Peck makes his argument that once you realize that life is difficult and it's supposed to be, it ceases being as difficult. Everyone just go, for a moment. I actually felt better. And then I actually started, it just shifted, that I started now to try to get into stuff. Or what do you got for me today? Right? What mountain am I going to go across? I'm going to start singing the Supreme song.
Okay.
Mountain high.
Really sorry I did that for the camera. I was going to tell you a story about being on camera. You just have to right, so we talked about humans, we talked about life and so forth. Viktor Frankl, he said that the true difference between humans and the animal kingdom is that man has one absolute freedom that animals do not have. Now, if you think about it, if you have a pet, your pet, you are God to your pet. Right? The reason I think why people have so much sympathy for pets and for animals that are abused is because they aren't in charge. They don't have a chance to ever be free. Even wild, they're not free if the BLM takes their land and sells it to the housing trust. So Frankl says this, after surviving 6 years in 4 different Nazi concentration camps while 6 million other people died. He says that man's ultimate freedom is his ability to choose his attitude, even in circumstances he can do nothing about. Now we start to see the similarity between Frankl, right, and Scott Peck. And what you're going to see throughout the day, today is like a big funnel. We all come in with all of our various stories and our various stuff, but I'm this center line here that we're all human. Humans, if we can get back in touch with what it truly means to be human, we can find our way through from this big mass world where we're sometimes being treated like animals. And we get down through this afternoon where we start to work on actual practical things that we now have the freedom and control over. And then Monday, the 3rd phase of what Hero School is, the first is this morning, then this afternoon, is going to be Monday at 1 o'clock in the trailer next door at Larson Training Centers. And what we're going to do is then we're going to talk specifically on what you need to do. Now, before I went back to school and got degrees in education or psychology and sociology, I was a math and physics major that sang opera. Or schizophrenic. So I tend to see things from a math and science perspective. Things have got to add up for me. As you also know, I was raised as an entrepreneur. I started a business when I was 19 while I was in college. Why? Because I worked my dad's business. I was his little slave and his little employee from age 6 to age 14. I saw my dad probably 5 times from age 11 to 14, lived mostly alone. He was an entrepreneur. He didn't have time for me. And so I see the world this way. And then the last one, I told you I owned a chain of electronics stores. So I watched a lot of movies. So today you're going to get 3 perspectives from me as your speaker. And that is science. It's got to add up for me. Right? Even the Bible had to add up for me. I read it. Second is I see the world as entrepreneurs. Third, watched a lot of movies. So let's just talk about how I believe we can get things done so quickly in your life today. Today. We had a guy from the last Hero School in November. In our raffle at the end, we have a raffle, by the way, and you're going to get a raffle. And the raffle, we have backpacks. And, hey, wait. This is my favorite part. What will they win? It's a new car.
Oh, wow. I can't stand him.
Too many personalities all in one room. Just means that you guys would be fine. So in the raffle, we've got backpacks. We've got this awesome Samsonite roller duffel until you get your own place, or like me when I'm flying out to Atlanta. So we got backpacks. We also have 2 outstanding bicycles, full suspension here, with front disc brake. So come on, you know this about yourselves. Sometimes you've been beat down so much, things have not worked out, you've not won in so long, you forgot what it means to feel like you're a part of the world again. You're gonna get that by lunch. So here's this guy, the guy who wins the bike at 3 o'clock to 3:30 in the afternoon when we have the raffle, before we go through all the clothes, and then we start sending out bus passes, getting you on your way with what you can sign up for to learn next. Guy wins this thing, sends a note to the office, our office, about 3.5 weeks later. Says, I just wanted to thank you for that. I'm the guy that won the bike. There we go. Think of this man. He says, yeah, I got a job, not on the street anymore, and I want to thank you so much. I'm going to send one of my friends here. So I don't even know if one of his friends is here. I'm not going to use his name. But what didn't come through the message that I got forwarded an email after dictation on. He came up to me at lunch saying, you know what, I really think, it's just about an hour from now, I really think I can do this. I've been homeless 26 years.
Whoa.
So the reason why it's so important for me that you've come from whatever you're doing and wherever you've been to come into an opportunity, we're going to give everything we have today that we know, that we feel, every strategy we can, because my God, if it takes 3 more weeks or 3 more months, that's better than 26 years, right? The guy that didn't win the bike. No, just kidding. No, are you kidding? Kim's probably got 3 dozen people got new birth certificates and IDs since that time. People that have been 12 years in the ditch, flying below the radar. Oh yeah, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work. All right, so a lot of the reason why it's fast, based on the way I see the world, right? Stephen Covey says it this way. He says we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. Right? So if you're an engineer, you kind of see the world from an engineering perspective. Right? If you're a plumber, if you're a football player, an athlete, you see everything, right, as from this type of new perspective. And so, through my eyes, from physics, for example, we have Isaac Newton. What a gem Isaac Newton was. Talk about great dead people. My Lord. And just one thing, one big deal that changed everything, and it changed how everyone had been doing things wrong for 2,000 years. He said the natural state of an object, its natural state, when it's just, let's hair it. The natural state of an object is motion. Let me get this straight. So in our universe, Scott Peck said, if you're alive in our universe, if you're a human being in our universe, or if you're just an object in our universe, things are supposed to be difficult if you want to create some change. It's supposed to be that. Not supposed to be easy. And then we get Isaac Newton, who comes over here and he says, by the way, your natural state is in motion. And everyone for 2,000 years says, and you know what they do when you're the only one, right? They bully you, right? They group up and try to shut you down, right? Talk bad about you, right? Or what you do if you were Billy. Who was my brother? I had a bully named Tammy Target. Tammy. Beat me up like every day. Like every day. On summers, it was probably 3 times a week. 3 times a week. Tammy was just a monster of a girl. Named Tiger. Oh, you think you've been ridiculed as a child? Now she was in my same grade. She's a big girl, but she'd been kept back for 3 years, so she wasn't too right. But anyway, but this is what it is. When you're the smart kid, the one that learns from the teacher instead of just hangs out with kids, the kids then feel insignificant. They start to attack you. They did it to Isaac Newton because he said, natural state of an object is in motion. And they all, with these eyes, said, no, look, it's not moving, it's at rest. Well, that just means they're so used to trusting their eyes. How many guys know where Denver is? Denver, what state is Denver in? Oh, very good, very good. All right, so how many guys can see Denver from here? And how do you know it exists? How do you know it really is in Colorado? Aha! Aha! And yet one of the things we do is we think that if we can't see it, not true. That just means your eyes aren't good enough. And let me just take that a step farther. You're not really seeing with your eyes, right? These are just instruments to take in information that's actually assembled in your brain. So we can adjust something in your brain to see more. Oh my God! And that's what happened to Isaac Newton through his own study. He said, no, look. The natural state is in motion. How do we know that? Just remove the table. See what happens to our object. Oh, look at that. It moved. And if we remove this floor, what would happen to it? Why? Because it wants to go. Because in this universe, Once an object gets going, it wants to stay going. So now let's look at how many guys, I don't hate to bring you all the way down to this level, but how many guys are objects today? Yeah, I guess you could be, right? Yeah, right. Your natural state is motion. So look at this. So the only thing I have to do today to get you over the hurdles, to get you the breakthrough, to get you to your promised land, isn't to give you something. It's just to move the table, the doors, the barriers, the blockades that have prevented you from achieving it. You're in motion. Every molecule in you that you're comprised of, right? You might be thinking that you're sitting there, but everything in you is moving. Just say, come on, move the table. So we're going to remove some things. We'll do that by taking some ideas you have that you may have had distinctly different definitions to, and redefining them. Redefining them to where they all line up. The answer is the same for each of them. We'll do that probably in the afternoon when we talk about money, and we show you how to get a job right away, and then even teach you some entrepreneurship. Okay? All right. So, object in motion tends to stay in motion unless otherwise acted upon. Got that from my physics. I got that from 8th grade physics. But you've got to trust it. You've got to trust it and stop seeing the world as things are sitting still, because your eyes will lie to you. Right? You can't feel the earth moving, but this puppy's spinning. Right? I watched Men in Black, right? So we're actually a ball that's moving, right? That things are playing with. We're just. Okay, so I told you I watched a lot of movies. Now, entrepreneurship, we'll have to deal with my 4 laws here in a moment. But movies, oh my God, what's great about movies? So let's see, have you seen some movies? I've got some movie posters here. We'll test your movie knowledge. No, I didn't see. Why do I have 50 Shades of Grey up here? I don't know. All right. Gosh, there's some new movies from last year. Who saw Guardians of the Galaxy? Anybody? Yeah. Who loved it? What do you say when you say you loved it? We are a group. Thank you so much. Well done. For the rest of you, next time you come back as Hero School graduates, you're going to come back and say, oh, we're a group. Okay? All right. And then we also have that movie, Frozen. Oh, notice my face? How on earth did that one gross over $1 billion? These people are sheep. Wait a second. Did you just say that humans can act like animals? Wow, well, since you brought that up, will you tell all the kids at the schools I go to stop buying me stuffed animal tigers? Can you have them stop when I had a girlfriend once. Commas are important. She got me this little stuffed animal tiger. It's like a boxing crunch, right? This great Valentine's gift. Oh, here's the best part. Yeah, it's cute. It's cute because it plays music too.
Oh,
What song is that? I'm so tired of it. Thought I was upset and unhappy note too. But now the kids, they either say hi tiger or hello kitty. See what they did there? I sometimes get like mugs and stuff. I get some pretty cool stuff too. But since you said that about animals, I was at a school. I do a lot of presentations with kids in school, so I had probably like one school was here in town, probably at least a decade ago. Monaco Middle School, Monaco, and this is interesting too. So let's just say this is our little side lesson. Okay, so guys, here's what happens when I go to a school. Gentlemen, high school or junior high, typically I'll get a gym full, and the teachers are so concerned about them sitting together. Usually it's the guys separate from the girls. And it was interesting here, though, at this school, because I was graded to talk about entrepreneurship, how to get a job, like that. And there's this pack of guys hanging out at the front of the school, probably 8 of them. And one of them had some bling. I don't think I have any bling today. But I had to have my own back then, so. Yeah, sure. See, okay. So is my mic. Okay. Yeah. And so, but I walk up to the school. First of all, bunch of guys. As the girls walk by, you can hear them talking horribly about the ladies. 8 guys hanging out together. I was just like, ugh. So I continue to walk in with my materials. Well, one of the guys peels off from the group, and he walks over to me, but he doesn't walk over to me. He has that walk. So he has that walk, right? And he has that walk, and he gets over to me, and he says, yo, what up, dog? Remember, what up, dog? Remember? Now it's just, dog, or right? He says, what up, dog? And I said, oh my God, don't you like you've already become dogs? Said human. You just said sheep. Right? Aesop's fables. You remember that? 582 BC? Right? Hundreds of stories where they used animals to illustrate human behavior. Rather, when humans weren't acting like humans, like what they're capable of. They were acting like animals. I was at another school. I was at, this was Brimley Middle School. Had a small theater, 85 kids, and I used to do this. I used to, there's something I'm about to tell you about the difference in humans and animals that I discovered purely accidentally. And, but I got into the school, and I just keep hearing these animal references attributed to humans. I was rewarding students for what they learned from teachers. Because at the time, all I knew was that most young people in schools, just like those guys hanging out there together, tended not to learn from the experts, right? They're not learning from math teachers or their coaches. They were talking to each other, right? Who remembers elementary school, right? Who remembers that, right? The teacher would say something, and those 3 boys on the back row, right? They'd look at each other and talk to each other. What are you doing? Trying to interpret for the math teacher? Right? You're a freaking 3rd grader. You don't know math? You're supposed to be asking the teacher, not talking to your 3rd grade friends. So I'm in this theater, 85 kids, 5 teachers. And so I decided to reward those students who could prove they had learned from teachers. And at that time, I used to carry whatever the old $100 bill was. And so I asked this question. I said, so how many guys were taught math, algebra? And most of the hands went up. They were 8th graders. And all the hands went up. And I said, great. I said, how many of you, for $100, can give me some algebra? Who can give me the quadratic formula for solving polynomial expressions? 3x squared plus bx plus c. Something I learned 7th grade at Del Robson. Because I didn't have any kid friends to talk to. So I said, how many, right? All the hands went down. But one. And it was a girl. She was over on this side of the theater. She was over here. And I said, do you know the answer? And the girl stood up and she said, I think so. I said, well, come on, everybody. And so she stands up in front of everybody. She says, x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Which for those of us watching around the world, is indeed the quadratic formula. Same one that I was taught. Same formula that if you could just know this one math formula, it would transcend the economy. It would transcend your friends and family. One formula would be enough that you could always get the right answer when you need it. Handed $100. And it's what happened next, the shot. Oh yeah, I handed her the money, and bam, from all corners of the campus, the 5 teachers in the room swarmed to surround the girl to protect her. Like they were Secret Service around Obama. They were just right, I think one went to the prank. I'm thinking, really? You're 8th graders, right? So I went up to the teacher and I said, so what's the problem? And the teacher says, you don't understand the kids in this school. They're like, whoa. So right. So right. So we got pigs, sheep. So I started really to figure this thing out, and that's when I fundamentally decided, no. The true difference between a human and an animal is that unlike the animal kingdom, humans become what they learn. And it was hard. See, if you only went to junior high and high school, this doesn't play out. Hard to see. Hard to see. It only makes sense if you get to college, because the labels work for college. The goal, by the way, right, if you were a human being, right, and they sent you to school, the goal was not to get new friends, meet guys, meet girls. The goal wasn't necessarily to learn math. The goal was for you to change. Right, we gave you a third grade teacher, we taught you third grade, you got too good for third grade, you changed into a fourth. I'm not a third grader anymore. So we then gave you a different teacher, right? And it looked like Forrest Gump. I may not be a smart man, but right? So we give you a fourth grade teacher, teach you fourth grade and fourth grade. If you learn from the teacher, you get too good for fourth grade, then you change into a fifth grader. But let's suppose you work this out. Let's suppose you do this the whole time. Let's suppose you continue through junior high and high school. You're learning from the teachers. You're changing, transforming from a fourth grader, fifth grader, into the sixth, and then ninth into 10th, 12th into graduate, and you go off to college. Now it's an easier model to see because now you have experts, teachers, say in engineering. And if they teach you engineering, and you do the homework, exercises like the push-ups of engineering, your molecules will change you into, everybody? An engineer. Think of that. If you learn accounting, you change into, you learn law, you become you learn psychology, you become. Right? Learn how to be rich, you can become rich. But if you're only learning about money from poor people, or poor people that are poorer than poor, which is Po, right? So you find a low and R silent, right? I think there's another level below that, broke ass, right? No, look, we become what we learn, right? If I'm an engineer, it's because I learned it. I can reverse engineer this formula and say, I had engineering teachers I learned from, right? I had exercises I did, and if I did them for some period of time, I changed. So today, if you're human, well, we're talking how many humans in the room? Sweet. Boy, you'd be so much better off in public school. Man, we teachers. Their hands aren't up either. Well, we all know Oprah's an alien, but that's. But now think about this. If you are here, not doing the work you want, not making the money you want, not having the lifestyle you want, who's that right now? Who's that? And with the other hand, are you still human? Then I've got good news for you. Humans are the only creature on the planet unique to this universe that become what they learn. So you realize if you're not it today, you can still become it if you stay a human tomorrow. Right? You can't go back acting like you. What up, dog? Right? Sheep. Maybe the boy who cried wolf. Can't be wolves. Huh. I think this is a huge opportunity. Now, every one of you knew this. Every one of you knew this, but you didn't have the words for it. And if you don't have the language for it, it's like going to a job interview without knowing the language of the interviewers, and they treat you as something else, never knowing all the power that's inside you. It's up to you to learn the language. We're the bridge to help you get there. We hope you'll go on and learn other languages. How many guys are Larson training students right now, or graduates, or alums? Oh, well done. I'm just going to give it up for you right now. Well done.
Yeah.
And we'll have sign-up forms at the end of the day if you want to try to earn a scholarship and go in and learn that next part of you. New language to communicate with the next group of people. All right, so humans become what they learn. What do we know about movies that makes them so great to movies? I mean, I did see my cat sitting in front of the TV watching a commercial. But if you've ever been to a movie, you know what it does to you. Sometimes it does enough to you that you look at your friend's expression and say, "See that?" I was with my former roommate, Greg Anthony, played for the Knicks, who's here at UNLV, another native Nevada. And he brought a bunch of his friends at whatever movie. It was some, I forget the name of the actor. Why? Because he's vanished in Hollywood. But anyway, God rest his soul. Maybe after election or something, he moved back in. But anyway, we're watching this movie. And because Greg was the alpha, right? Did you ever see, who's seen Key and Peele? Anyone watch those great comedians together? Hilarious, right? And they did one recently about, here's the guy who's like the star, and then he has his hype man, right? Well, all 8 of them were like, that's the hype man, but they thought they saw Greg as the alpha. So whenever something happened on the screen in the movie, they all looked at his face to interpret. How many of you guys have seen that happen? Right? Oh, yeah. It's not necessarily a movie, right? But movies then must have a way to speak more deeply to our inner human, something that, again, they can't do for animals, for pets. So let's go through my little movie list here. Get past the thank you for getting me Crying Tiger Cup Ramen Noodle Soup. I love you too. Just send cash next time, all right? Really. Okay, so I look back on forming Hero School and why we, contemporary of Carl Jung, right? Jungian psychology, and really understood more about the subconscious of a human being. There's more to you than just the surface, your drives, and your other. Okay? So he said this. Listen carefully to this. The best things can't be told. The best things can't be told. Words are just not good enough to describe some of the things that a human being can experience. Best things can't be told. He went on to say, the second best things are misunderstood. Third best things, probably what we have to work with. Okay. Dr. Albert Morabian, his life's work at UCLA, he came up with the 738-55. 738-55 adds up to 100. And he said human communication is divided into 3 primary sections, and only 7% is words. 38% is tone and attitude. I'm just trying to text with just words. Oh, we want to emojis, we're capitalizing. We're pausing and not texting for 5 minutes, let them just sit with that for a minute. Right? And that's only 45%, so the final 55% is nonverbal. Nonverbal. How do you ever expect to get the job you want in a world that has gone digital technology online when the resume and all of the stuff that you put online, including that application, are just words? 7%. They are not going to see 93% of you. We're going to show you how to show off all 100% of you, the part you want to show off, this afternoon. So I'm going to use an image of a movie to define Hero School in a nutshell. For you to now, Hero School has 1,000 lessons, and we'd have schools for all kinds of people all over. But for humans that need this breakthrough moment, this is it. Here's a story, Shawshank Redemption. Who has not seen this movie? Okay, it's on your homework.
Really?
Look at it. Really? I was just beginning to like you. So, but think about this. We have this character, Andy Dufresne, who, as many of you know, who've seen the film. was thrown into prison for something he didn't do. Now, maybe some of us thought he killed his wife, but he goes to prison for the death of his wife, the murder of his wife, and her wife's lover. He's in prison suffering something for like 16 years more in Shawshank, a prison that was, well, no one escaped. Suffering much more when other men are there, desperate, like animals. And he has the audacity toward the end of the film, just kind of waiting for the big break, he has the audacity to say these words to his buddy, Red. He says, the way I see it, you either get busy living or get busy dying. Now, we get this message, it was impactful, we're sympathetic, but that's only 1/3 of why a movie is written. It's relatability. And we may have built our entire lives on relatability. We only have 1/3 of a movie, so no one's buying our script. No one's paying us. Remember, poor gas. Okay? So quickly, we'll be able to now learn the other 2/3. So he says these words, either get busy living or get busy dying. 5 minutes later in the film, Red's not in his cell. Excuse me, Andy Dufresne is not in his cell. They have no idea where he went. And then finally it's revealed to us, again, something we couldn't see the entire time because we're looking just with these eyes. We realized that every single day for, let's call it 16 years, with the biggest hammer he could find, which was just a little bitty rock. Right? If he didn't have a gym, he had a chair to do step-ups to increase his vertical leap. Like I chips away every single day and then hides what he's been chipping every day with the poster. Doesn't have to talk about it. No one can try to get in his way. Nothing's stopping his object from motion. And it took 16 years, but I mean, really? Well, it takes 16 years, so what are you going to do for 16 years? You'd be the same person 16 years later with no hole in the wall? No escape room? And we find out now from the movie what get busy living actually means. Get busy living means you get the biggest hammer you can find, and every single day you go up to the wall that is separating you from the life you want, and you chip away. If you're not getting up every single day with your hammer and chipping at the wall that separates you from the life you want, you're not living. So you might as well check out, which was the other metaphor in the movie by even the lifers that got parole. They got out of Shawshank. It didn't matter if they were outside the prison. They were still in prison on the inside. They use the same term in the Matrix, a prison for your mind. The Matrix is the world that's been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? Well, that's why the whole movie's there, to discover the truth. It's funny how many people I see even coming off the freeway. People, have a sign or something telling me what they need. Just need that. You don't know what you need. We know that about every film. Every film, our character has 2 journeys they're going through. You can't even start writing a movie unless you first define what you want. And it has to be a visible goal. It has to be an actual amount, right? I want to get grandma's house back if you're happy good. Right? And then we find out that's going to cost $300,000 to pay off the debt from the IRS. Visible goal. Then we ask, what does the character need? And the character is going to say, I need $350,000. Oh, no, you didn't. Right? Because the first one at the auction bought the house and your money was useless. Not if you see that. Right? You followed somebody else's rules, you came with what they asked for, and it didn't work. Why? Because that's what you thought you needed. No, that's just your want. It's important. But the need is something you discover on the steps you take every single day. And you achieve it. Then you find out what you really need. I'll tell you, here's one thing. If we can talk about men and women for a moment. Here, all, can we talk about men and women for a moment? My experiences. Here are these 8 guys hanging out with each other. And sometimes I'm at gyms, and I've got, again, half of them, 250 of them on one side are guys, and here are the girls. And I'll show like that movie Twilight, that Twilight series, right? And all the girls are, ah! And all the guys are, ah! Well, here are these guys talking about girls when I walked up to that school. And I remember when I turned on them after I thought they'd become dogs. I said, do you like girls? Yeah. I think some of them said she, right? I think they meant she. And I said then, why isn't everything you're learning about girls or women or ladies, you're learning from dudes? Actually, I mean, really? How many guys hang out with guys? They don't like girls, but hang out with guys. That's weird. You want to be successful with anything, your behavior's got to be in line with your goals. Right? If you like guys, hang out with guys. Right? It's legal in 36 states. Enjoy your guys. But if you like girls, doesn't it make more sense to separate yourself from the guys and learn about women from, I don't know, maybe women? Right? Right? You wonder why the divorce rate's so high? Why so many relationships fail? Because everything most men in America ever learn about women, they learn from dudes. Now, by the way, so now imagine you're me for a moment. Okay? You're me for a moment. I'm the speaker in this big crowd. What happens when I make this point to 500 or 1,000 teenagers? And a bunch of guys are sitting next to each other, laughing it up, talking to each other. And then I say, hey, you're hanging out with guys. You know what they do? Oh, they start to separate themselves. They just automatic, right? And sometimes that's what we have to do. Once we get the message, right, we got to separate ourselves from those things that aren't in line with our goals. Joseph Campbell, he wrote The Hero with 1,000 Faces, 1949. He says that every man must have the courage to be alone, to take the journey for himself. And I'm sure man, everyone used man as a species back then. It wasn't male or female. Right? You got ducks. I have ducks in my neighborhood, but I don't have the female ducks. Don't call me Duck. Well, I can't really tell if you're, do you want me to do the whole checkout? I mean, we can do this. We're a species of being, man, human, right? So, Lord, what's happened to us? Oh, what's happened to us? So, movies. The reason why I did movies is there's something else you need to know. Every single movie must accomplish these, or hinges upon these 3 little paradigms. Number 1, relatable character. The movies that get us is because something in that character in the beginning we connect with, right? We relate to, right? Kim is Medea, right? Look, there's Kim right there. Drop about 300 pounds. Right? We might, in some of us, it might be Mel Gibson in Pickett, right? We've done some stuff we're not proud of. But when it comes to keeping your word and stealing, my God, he is the most honest person in America. Where's the relatability? Have you ever had someone you liked or trusted, then shot you in the back, stab you in the back? Right? There's the relatability. You see, right? So that's how they trick us, right? Then here's the second part. So you're making these notes in your mental notebook. You're going to get, by the way, we're going to have a shift here in the afternoon. You're going to get a notebook. I'll tell you in a moment what we're using. Second chapter is that in the movie screenplay, when they write the words that become the movie, they put on purpose conflict. Conflict. I mean, I'm naturally, I tell you what, I try to avoid conflict. Don't like conflict. Don't like conflict. I might have one of my 64 personalities that likes conflict, maybe one. Most of us, we don't want conflict, and yet they put conflict in the movie. Let's say it's, sir, you are my Danny Glover. Who remembers Lethal Weapon? Because this face he was given, well, you're doing a better job right now, but the face he was given, all this nonverbal, is exactly the face Danny Glover, Murtaugh, was giving, was giving Riggs. Remember that character? Was giving him in the first part of the movie. So we have a relatable character who's ever just been trying to get themselves killed because, what's the point? And then you end up becoming heroic because it was the first time you've lived in a while. And then you got the other relatable character, Murtaugh, who's done his time, who's paid his bills. He deserves his time, right? He's raised a good family. He's 3 months from getting his gold watch in retirement and all that comes with it. And now Captain slaps us together. So we just made it past relatable character, and here comes conflict. Why? Because we are two opposite types of characters. We avoid being in the same place with the same car or who's going to drive. We fight over it because we're each very, one's high risk, one's totally risk averse. You'll find that in business. You're a high risk person. We're going to show you this afternoon how to match up with the business or the business team so you can utilize your skills without scaring the Jesus. So the conflict puts the two of us together, just like this class, though, at the fundamental basis. We're all the same. In this case, they're police officers. There's commonality. And they start to have to go back to that. And they trust each other. They show trust. They make investments of trust, save each other's lives. And at the end of the film, they, here's the third part, accomplish the impossible. Now we say, oh, that's Hollywood. Oh, you're going to see very quickly that there's more that can be done in the real world from the movies than most people have ever imagined. So remember, 3 things. Don't forget them because in the afternoon you're going to use them. Relatable character, conflict, and accomplish the impossible. Now, why did I tell you that if you're in a movie? Because right now, look, right now, if you're in this room, it means you're just tired of being an extra in somebody else's film. Yeah. That's what Chris Rock said. Tired. Yeah. Eventually you just have to, God, need some other way out of being used, being a no name, not being able to fill this thing that's going on. So what we're going to do today, from this morning to noon, you're shifting over from people who watch movies into people who can now write them, who can now author them. If it's your own movie that you write, you star it. You might choose a better director on the first one than yourself.
Okay.
Don't be hating. But you understand? But this is our chance to write it, so we have to understand how this movie underneath the formula works, just like we had to know the quadratic formula. Just like you had to know F equals ma, right? Force equals mass times acceleration, due to gravity. And if you know these formulas, now guess what we can do? We can now live, manufacture, produce life on purpose instead of watching life happen to us. So 3 things, now I'm going to quiz you. What's the first thing you have to have in your movie? A relatable character. So who can tell me how they are relatable? Well, you're not. You're not, because I'm going to tell you in a moment why you're not homeless. Houseless, you're all human. Okay? So what is it about your situation that would make somebody else connect with your movie? Because first part, the relatability, is we have to connect. If you've ever watched a film and you just didn't get into it, you could care less, it's because they didn't make the character relatable enough. We didn't care about them. We didn't care if they died, right? Oh, look, they're going to kill that person. And we just went off, I'm going to go get a drink, right? Right? That wasn't important unless there was some sort of conflict. So I'm going to suggest to you that you discover this about yourself by finding a character in the movies you connected with in the past. Right? You watch a teen film, right? You watch Riggs and Murtaugh. Maybe you were Riggs. Maybe you connected with Riggs and start to identify some things about Riggs, because here's another secret about movie making. When they write those movies, what they're doing is not giving you Riggs and Murtaugh. They're giving you characteristics. They're giving you character traits. Are you compassionate? Right? Are you loyal? Right? Are you just the comic relief? So the characters that we put in the film are built around that character trait. Nod with me if you start to kind of see that. In Lethal Weapon, we had Risky. The reason why did they write the film? Why would you spend the money to write and to produce The Shawshank Redemption? Right? Because when all hope is gone, there's still hope. If you chip away every single day. The whole purpose. All the other stuff, incidental. Just had to be a movie that got people to watch it. So why are we going to watch Lethal Weapon? Because the police force stopped being risky. They started to depend in their authority. They started to depend in their weaponry. And they stopped risking their lives to help other people. You see that, right? So we put the ultimate risk taker. But who is the ultimate risk taker? Probably someone who's had some past. Some people died in his life that he couldn't do anything about. So he's, sometimes the only way to get ourselves to risk something is when we got nothing to lose. God, don't confess you're homeless and then think you still have something to lose. My God, this is the time of your life. Let's write that movie. My God, this is awesome. You have the most hope. Right? People that take the most time, people with so many things they have to do. I got to check with so-and-so. I'm just not sure about this yet. I don't want to lose my shopping cart space.
Oh, yeah.
So first was relatable character. What's the second one?
Conflict.
Conflict. Absolutely. You've got to put the conflict in there. And conflict is typically conflict between two ideals going on inside the same body. Or as Jesus' half-brother James would say, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Wow, you got two conflicting opinions about the same subject in both your conscious and subconscious minds. You've got one belief here that says this, and you got a world over here that has a different answer. They're inside you is where the conflict is. So when we have fights on the outside, it's really because we're having internal conflict. But they put the conflict in there as a catalyst to accomplish the, everybody?
Impossible.
The impossible. If you today are starting to write a movie, and the goal is not something that's impossible, it ain't worth seeing. Who's going to pay for that? I got Down with Gladys next door. Right? I don't need a drama. I got TNT and I got Aunt May. Right? Got to be accomplish the impossible. So there's got to be accomplishment in there. Something that you go after that's just bigger than you are. And now I'm going to give you the trademark, if you will, of Hero School that I found in the movies in the 90s that now people are using everywhere, which gives us even more fuel. What's produced from relatable character, conflict, and the goal of accomplishing the impossible is to get it done, the character must change. Okay, now these are movies. And let's get back to our list of movies. We have, let's see, we have movies about Transformers, if you've seen them, right? Movies about cars, Fast and Furious. We got movies about pirates, right? And gladiators, roller coasters, if you saw Final Destination. By the way, these are teachable, right? If someone has seen the future, been there, done that, they say, don't go there, you might die. Just don't go there, because you might die, right? But in the movies, you know what they do? They give us characters that don't listen. Or you could never have a horror movie. Well, you could Let's go, what's in there? What are we doing? We're sitting on the sofa watching this movie. Stupid! Are you sure you're stupid? Right? But in real life, what have we done? We've freaking gone in there. And we didn't come out unscathed. All right, we have movies about who wanted to be a dentist growing up. Anybody a dentist growing up? Any hockey players in the room? Hockey? Ah, golfers. So here's my other discovery, Happy Gilmore. Thank God they made Happy Gilmore. Because it teaches us there's a third alternative. There's not just get busy living, and there's not just get busy dying. Right? Because you could just, find out when the bus is coming by, and, right? You're too much of a sissy. There's the third one, repeating history. It's what most people do. By not choosing to live or choosing to die, they just see the same world over and over again. Happy Gilmore, 10 straight years, trying out for the same hockey team, never made the team. Gosh, easy answer there. Every time the coach tried to tell him something, he didn't listen and learn and do it, he would become a hockey player. Instead, he beat up the coach. Oh, come on, how many of you guys have ever attacked the boss when they told you something that conflicted with your beliefs? Right. When in fact, what you needed to do was learn from the boss, take on that character attribute, and be totally resistant to being laid off. Don't hate the player. All right, so, oh, we have Minion movies. Oh, I love Minions, okay. We have movies about cops and cops. Movies about knights, if you've seen A Knight's Tale, fantastic movie. Movies about homeless people. All right, I'd tell you what homeless people really are. You ready?
Trading place.
Yeah, no, you raise your hand and say you're homeless. No, can't be. Can't be because you're here. Now, here we go, ready? I walked the line, being an entrepreneur, who watched a lot of movies, and had a few screws loose. But no, remember, I also hadn't been taught education, psychology, or sociology. Didn't have to with my combined Methodist major, or my music minor. So I'm only seeing the world from how so just imagine you're me, and you're seeing this, and you're walking up and down the line, and this line of people, homeless, and people told me they were homeless. I said, okay, where are you from, whatever. And I observed these 4 habits that were in conflict with the 4 laws of being an entrepreneur. How many of you guys want to own a business? Would love to own a business, the freedom and the power of money? How many of you guys want to work for a great business? Appreciates you. Great, good. You have to know this. Here it is. Number 1, the laws of entrepreneurship. Right? These are, if you do this, you change into an entrepreneur. Just right, if you learn math, you change into a mathematician, learn law, you become a lawyer, right? So I learned these things, watched my dad do them. He wasn't a very good dad, so I didn't learn how to be a good dad. Still don't have my own kids. I'll probably 1 million of them graduate, though, other people's kids. Stop having sex is my primary message. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of people don't realize that sex produces kids. It's like, it's fascinating. I can't. They're my kids. I said, no, they're just post-sex. You know? That's a little different, right? So, your beliefs is how you're talking, not necessarily beliefs. So, Hero School and its local station. So anyway, all right, so here. Number 1, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're Starbucks, right? You're a store over here in the container. You're my business. Number 1 law. You add value first. Number 1 law. Number 1 law is you don't go around asking people for their money before you can provide coffee. You invest all of your money. You make deals, go into debt, whatever you have to do to load your little container bar dress shop with dresses. You don't even know what size the people are coming in. You got to guess. It's risky, Riggs. You add value first. Number 1. Here's what I found in the line for the homeless. I was walking up and down the line, and they'd start begging from me. Now, we took surveys later to find out this whole Christian connection, but some of the funny ones were this. So they said, I was born again in 1985, Philip Logos in 1992, can I have $5? So now you say, oh, hell no, because you probably experienced it. Back then, Brian, I'm just new to this, right? So everything is a class, right? But I'm just seeing this guy in my store, or let's say I'm opening more stores, and I'm trying to put this person in charge. So I'm thinking they're homeless, I just give them a house, I'm wealthy, right? Get a new job or a business, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to go up to my customers and just start giving stuff online. That's sure a nice jacket, brother. It's my size. Right, don't you right? So entrepreneurs add value first, so I call them as these homeless people, they beg. Beg, have it one. It's as simple as that. Have it two. So walking up and down this line, here we go. I said, so why are you here? Why are you right there from all these different cities and somebody went through all this stuff, right? And I said, why are you here? And you guys, if you've ever been homeless or houseless and been in a shelter, you know better than to even ask someone that question. Oh, it'll just take you down to the 7th level of hell. Oh, I was so motivated until. Right? That's like asking a guy who hangs out with guys about girls. It's like asking your 3rd graders about math instead of asking a 3rd grade teacher about math. So walking up and online, I said, so why are you homeless, right? And he said, I got to some of these guys, right? So you said, this one said, oh, my boss is an asshole. This over here says, that bitch I married. He just went down the line. I says, man, blah, 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 blah. He just said, well, I don't know. But I didn't see it as bosses, right? Because I have a hard time believing people that don't know what they're doing. Right? If they were homeless, they wouldn't know why they're homeless. They would be homeless. So I take the information, and my goal then is the educator, or the one that might have something they don't, or something they want. Right? If they're begging for me, I got something they want. I must know something they don't know. Therefore, I'm going to find out what that is, get it to them, and then they're no longer in need. Right? I'll help them be like me. Right? Hey, look. The first thing I did was interrupt the food line. Oh, you think I was hated? Good thing I knew some kung fu then. That would have helped in elementary school. But I'm telling you, I got in the park and I'm thinking all these people lined up for the food. I got on the microphone, we set up a big sound system, and I was just helping this little charity to put this big sound system. And I said, thanks for coming out, but before you eat, you gotta sit down and listen to me for now. I said, because in the real world, they don't pay us first. And you want to be like me, you got to be like me. We have to provide value first. Then we receive our just due. Right? Life doesn't give you what you need, it gives you what you deserve, said Jim Rohn. So I have to teach people how to be deserving of the stuff. We were taught it was need, not need. Need. Right? So, sure enough, here comes this, I called it blame. And the reason why I could see it is because in my world, if I'm the business owner, I don't care if all 5 employees at one store are calling sick. The show must go on. I'm responsible to the IRS probably 5 years out of going out of business. 5 times 365 and a quarter days after going out of business, I'm still responsible, whereas someone who quits is not responsible after that. So I've got, to quote Uncle Ben Parker, with great power, great responsibility. So in our world, my second law of being an entrepreneur is you've got to not just not blame. You have to take the blame even for stuff you didn't do. Sure. It might be totally true what happened. Right? It was her. It was the boss. Absolutely. But for you to be in charge, free, and not constantly go through this cycle of history, you're going to have to step up and say, you know what, I made a bad choice. You know what, there must have been something I could have done. and then find an expert to teach you what that was. What would you have done in this case? Doesn't that make more sense than Happy Gilmore being on?
Right.
You think you're better than me? Yeah, I'm better than you. I'm the coach. I'm employed. Yeah, right? If someone comes up to you because you're the only one, right?
Yeah.
And they say, well, who do you think you are? Just sit back and say, well, how much time do you got? We can't keep dumbing ourselves down to get under the bullies. Quote your Bible. Quote your Bible, right? Study to show yourself approved. Not unto people, unto God. Right? A work that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Rightly dividing the word of truth. 2,000 years before Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad comes out. He learns from his dad that intelligence is the ability to make finer distinctions. The babies might know that's a car. 4-year-olds might know the difference between a Ford and a Chevy, a finer distinction. They're more intelligent. 12-year-olds know every single model, car, color, engine type, etc. And then we start going toward care less, right? This is your life and your movie. You're going to start caring some more and start making finer distinctions. It might not be just blame. Maybe blame is the only thing interrupting your deal. You're going to have to figure out, maybe, do I only blame in this category? Maybe it's right. Start to make finer, become more intelligent about your movie, about your owner's manual for you. Third habit I found was, just like we see in school, kids. I'd walk up and down the line and say, this, we talk, and then I'd get to here. You know what happened next? Prior 8 people all got together and talked about me.
Yeah.
Right? Now look at this. You really think you can understand me from the outside? Then they were all Christian. I didn't know this at the time. I think no one knows the Spirit man except the Spirit man. Right? The Spirit man's right. So I just found out that they sucked as students. That's really it, right? Homeless people have 4 habits, but they sucked as students. They let somebody else do their homework.
Right.
That's like getting up someone else to do your push-ups for you.
Yeah.
Right? I can't go to the gym for you, make you any stronger. You can. The more you do, the more you can do. So these are just people that went in, learned half of it, but didn't transform into it because there's a formula for change. And it's the learning, but it's also the corresponding doing. Faith without works, and that work, the word degree is corresponding action. Faith without corresponding action is dead, being alone. Now we have number 4. Habit 4, besides, I call it horizontal learning, is habit 3. The entrepreneur learns vertical. Right? We might be great at sales, we might be great at other things. We might be great at sales, we might be great at other parts of our business. But let's say we really just, we suck at handling employees. And as your business grows, you can't just do what you did when it was you and your wife. You gotta have employees, and you might not have changed also into an employer. Therefore, what do? We don't go talk to our friends and family about being an employer. We go to an expert, some business owner perhaps, that has 300 employees, even if we're just trying to pick up 3 or 4. Because the only one that knows it is the person that's already mastered it. So in entrepreneurship, our law 3 is we learn vertical. From a master, from a teacher, somebody, they call it a master's degree. They don't let you teach just because you have a bachelor's in engineering. They let you teach once you've mastered it. They call it a master's degree. Master is what we're talking about. Now, 4th, habit 4, law 4. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm seeing the world this way. When the expert, teacher, coach, professor tells me this is the way to solve the problem I've brought to them, what should I do?
Listen.
I should do that, shouldn't I, right? So what we do is, right, we listen, learn, and act. We call it 3 steps. Check. Tie a teeth with me, kick my critique.
Oh my God.
Listen, learn, act, right? Right? We just say, okay, this is the answer. Just say, okay. Because the expert might be half right, but still just say, okay. Because if you're the other half right and you talk back, forget them ever wanting to help you again. You feel alone, no help, because you want to talk back. And I found in that line, this is the 90s, these are what I define as homeless people. In that line, 4 habits, and the 4th habit was, when I tried to tell them, oh, just go do this, just go call so-and-so, do this, whatever, whatever problem they tried to tell me, they would try to tell me a story why they could or didn't, or it makes sense. So if it's a teenager, we talk back. This is what we did when we were 12, 13, 14. That's why in all the movies, hero movies, not just hero movies, many of the movies, but primarily hero movies, they kill off the parents by age 12. Because that's the time we can no longer learn from our parents. It's the time we actually split into 2 people, Bruce Wayne and Batman. And we now need to learn from experts, teachers, coaches. Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, Happy Gilmore, dad killed by a hockey puck. I rest my case. Yeah, we would try to keep family, but now you're in the Apostle Paul's book, right? Right? When I was a child, I thought as a child, I acted like a child, I understood as a child, but when I became a man, I had to stop being mama's baby. So 12 is usually what that is. Now I know they killed off Harry Potter's parents like year 1, right? But at age 12, onwards. It's actually a common theme. And by the way, as one of the unofficial, I'm like the world record holder getting homeless people off the streets in America. Oh, it's so easy, right? Because if you're homeless, I teach you the 4 opposite deals. You learn in a group so you can see the common places. I treat you like humans first, not housing first, not your baggage first, not what, right? Humans first. So you activate all your powers, not just this fraction, that fraction. Right? It's easy. But look at foster care youth in America. 71% in Nevada became homeless. I always have to kind of write on. Right?
Yeah.
Right? I was so excited to be dumpster diving, but for bottles and cans when I was 11 years old living alone in Henderson. After my parents' divorce and all the other subsequent crashes of my dad's businesses. Why? Because I could get a penny piece for those 2 bottles. I made $600 a month in recycling as an 11-year-old in elementary school. But see, I had the mindset of the entrepreneur first. I saw it as an advantage, not as paid itself. Remember Scott Peck at the beginning? The shift? We now say, oh my God, I don't really have a lot of connections to stuff. Whew, I could have one heck of a move. Could build anything. So I found this foster care equation. I said, well, what is the difference, right? How is it 71% now? 95%, we can overcome that. We've overcome it through what we call a hero school intervention, right? It's exactly what you're hearing here. Reminding you of a human, showing you a model, and I'll throw on the board right before lunch of this movie model so that they can see their life as it truly is. The depth of their human means that they've got 2 lives. There's a Bruce Wayne self and a Batman self. Age 12, we rebel against one or the other. And you need both. And you need both to live. There's a reason there's both. There's a reason there's a Simon Bar-Jonah and a Peter. And a Brahm becoming an Abraham. There's a reason for this duality. It's just when they stay separate and dual, we got 2 people going nowhere. So 71% become homeless in Nevada, but did you know that there are 25 prime ministers in Europe that were orphans, foster care youth? If you were European and you saw, oh my God, my parents just died, or oh my God, I just got sent into foster care, I can become prime minister. That's the truth. That is the truth. But in America, we teach them, oh, dang it, you're destined for homelessness. Why? Because humans become what they learn. And I don't care who you learn it from. If you learn to beg, to blame, to learn only horizontally instead of vertically, and then every time an expert shows up and says, wax on, wax off, take the fence down the floor, and you talk back, you're going to be homeless. But In Europe, remember, they're also tied to a much deeper. We are a tiny, young little country, America. Oh, we're powerful. But when no one is connected to the depth of what it means to be human, what it means to be of a particular culture, you know, in America today, we're trying to actually erase the cultures instead of understanding what the culture means to you. Usually the sons and daughters of immigrants become disasters after the immigrants thought it was like freedom to be great in America. Sons and daughters are disasters because they don't know what to do with the two parts of them. Many times in the data from these studies show that the grandchildren typically figure out a way to manage both their Bruce Wayne and Batman lives. We just have, our faster thing is to remind you of the movies you watched. Okay, so I'm going to give you a formula, and then we're going to go, I actually have an exercise to give you. I'm going to put this formula on the board. Can we pass out the I Will Succeed handout right now, please? I'm late, but I think I can. I'm going to put this formula on the board while they pass that out. You'll commit it to memory. You'll write it in your notebooks in the afternoon after lunch. Ooh, lunch. Strip and dip. One of my favorite entrepreneurs makes the best chicken strips in town. You'll have your choice between vegetables or mac and cheese. Try to impress me with just vegetables. You know I'm eating mac and cheese. I ain't stupid. I ain't ignorant.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Ready? All right. So remember now, we're merging, right, movies to real life. And where they can accomplish, if they do the relatable character, put the conflict in on purpose. In other words, work against the things that they've been lashing out with themselves. Judge yourself, you not be judged. Instead of judging others, you judge yourself. If you do that, you can accomplish the impossible in 90 minutes to 2 hours. So that's why every Hero School session is, how long? 90 minutes to 2 hours. Oh, we might be giving you, you know, let's see, probably $385,000 for Harvard education. They still don't know what we know. Because they still believe what the other people told them instead of doing their own exercises. How many of you guys have a college degree in here? How many of you guys would like to have it? Now here's the deal. When you go to that university and they look down on you, here's what you say. You ready? Everyone look up at me. Look at me. This is what I do. I mean, I have my degree. Degrees aren't what help me understand this. Study is what helped me understand this. Okay, here we go. I go up to the schools for all these professors who have tenure. I mean, I'm talking top schools, great schools, very important for the Bruce Wayne life. I have no idea about Batman and Wonder Woman. Okay. So I go up there and they start to say something condescending, something snide about, oh, you're so, right? And I say, you know what? You know, it's funny that the people who founded your university didn't graduate from it. They didn't have the courage. Are you kidding? They just want a safe paycheck. People teaching the stuff that the universities are trying to be safe. You have an advantage. You still need to learn what they know. But don't let what they know disqualify what you know. You need both. Repeat this after me. We need both. Say it personally now. I need both. I need both. Both. I think we got both down. Good. All right. So now, heads up. I'll tell you what to do with the document in a moment. But I want you to take this into lunch and let it just mix with your food. Okay, you ready? There's a formula. The formula you need to make it, and you'll write it, I'll leave it on the board, you'll write it down later, but just follow non-verbally. Don't go to words, 7%. Are you kidding? I'm here. All 93% of it. We found out from school the goal of education, if you're a human, is to change, right? From 3rd to 4th, 5th to 6th, graduate, right? Become an engineer. It's change. Say it out loud. The goal of education is change. You're a human, so your goal is to change. So I create a formula that says our goal is, equal sign, notice, change. And now what are some of the components of change? Well, number one, you got to act like a student. You can't keep acting like you know everything during each of these new movies. You start each new movie ready to learn something new. And students ask questions instead of give answers. They ask, what must I do, instead of tell stories why they can't do it. Nod with me, do you understand that? So in my formula, I put an S for student. We'll recap this right after lunch, but I want you to just go away with this one. The second thing that happens is you decide what change you want. Remember we talked about the movie Invisible Goal? Stop the bad guy, get grandma's house back. Right? Titanic would be survive the shipwreck. I mean, how many guys, when you went to see Titanic or watched it on TV, didn't know that the boat was going to sink? It sunk? It'd be fascinating. So, really, it sunk? Right? Truly, the goal of our main character, right, is to not get married to the one she knows she shouldn't be with. The boat is just like this vehicle in the background. I'm not marrying you. I love this guy. Sully. Okay? But the formula, okay? The formula. Okay? So the character must change is what we say. Say it out loud. The character must change. Character must change. Say it out loud into my...
Character must change.
Say it while I'm taking a selfie with all of you guys.
Character must change.
Okay.
Character
must change. All right, so you got that part? Character must change, right? So we've got the guy in Avatar must change. 30-year-old mama's boy must change. Right? Daniel must change. Got it? Thomas Anderson must change into Neo in The Matrix, right? Alejandro must become Zorro. Right? Hercules must go from zero to hero. Harry Potter's got to go from orphan foster kid living under the stairs to wizard. Right? Okay, so character must change. Well, we've already decided if you're a human being, you went to school, your goal was change. And we're talking about character. We're not changing your parents. We're going to modify your DNA a little. Right? But it's the character change, the character, the person you bring into the world. How effective will that character be? So our formula is the same, but just like a movie, you have to decide what type of character am I changing into. Right? You could just say, I'm going to change into the employed. You might want to be an engineer. Are you following? Maybe your first step is you want to be a finisher. Maybe you started or opened a bunch of cans and you haven't closed many. Maybe you just need to, maybe, Ed, take a look at Ed, wave your hand, Ed back there. Ed Bevilacqua is the director over at Larson Training Centers, and here in the Learning Village, has a 4-month program, is it?
Yes.
How many of you guys could sit in a chair for 4 months and complete the homework? How many guys? Show your hand. Could you do it? How many guys could make it at least a month? How many guys could go for an hour and a half? How many guys love your mother? Let's just check see if the arms are working. This wasn't working out. All right, you understand? So maybe your first step is to get into something that allows you to complete something. So now you walk out of there, I'm a finisher. So you start with deciding what it is. You act like a student. Well, who is the expert that corresponds to the change you want? If you want to be an engineer, who does your expert have to be? It has to be someone who's mastered engineering. If you want to be good in basketball, coach of. Great. If you want to be a champion basketball player, who does your coach need to be? Champion coach. Now you're on it. We call that character, in Euro School, we call that an expert. So we put an E. The S stands for what? Act like a student. You ask questions, you don't do the talking. For the period of time. So here's how we do it. You ask the questions of the expert, they give you exercises. So we put another E. They say, okay, there's some exercises to signing up for this class. If you want to get your driver's license, there are going to be some exercises, right? If you have your own money in a bank in Nevada, Aren't there steps to getting your own money out? You can't just go in there and make a demand on me. That's my money. It may be. But those steps are set up to protect your money and to help you become the kind of person that keeps it. And we try to get out of the steps, we get out of the change. We can bring a bunch of money in, we can hustle. We can't keep it, it just goes through the holes in our pockets. So the final part is it's got to be over time. There's got to be a period of time. Larson training, 4 months, right? Go through some other class, get something for a week. Do something for some period. Maybe it's 4 years to be an engineer, but gosh, if you catch this and you're smarter than some of the folks at some of the big schools, you might do it in 3. Challenge yourselves. I mean, if not now, when? So there's your formula. C over time equals change. Repeat after me. First instruction you missed. Oh. My personality type right now. Repeat after me. C over time.
C over time.
Equals change.
Equals change.
Do it again. C over time.
C over time.
Equals change.
Equals change.
Do it on your own any way you want. Oh, do it, no. Do it like a cult. C over time equals change.
C over time equals change.
That's like almost as scary as kindergartners singing. That's what they use in those horror films. Horror movies. Scary. Well done. All right, so C over time equals change. All right. I'd now like to welcome Ed up because he's our host here. Thank you, Ed. Been a lot of fun coming up for Ed. When Ed is finished here, we're going to go to lunch, and I want you to take this with you, this goal sheet, and on the back are some movie little lessons. And I want you to be thinking about some goals, some initial goals during your time at lunch, okay? Make sure you bring that back in so we can work on it as soon as you get back together, okay? Thank you.
Okay, let's give another hand to donating their time, their energy, going out and getting other people in the community to donate stuff that's important for everyone here. So I'm just going to quickly talk about a couple things before we go to lunch, and that is the rules of the learning village. So this property was owned and developed by Tony Shea. So if we can give a round of applause to Tony Shea. For those who don't know, he is the founder of Zappos, which he sold to, this doesn't seem to be working. Is it? Oh, okay. I really don't.
Loud and slow. Yeah.
Okay. So Tony Shea is the CEO of Zappos, the founder. He sold it to Amazon for $1 billion. And then he decided to invest $350 million into redeveloping downtown Las Vegas. And one of the things he did was to buy 60 acres of land down here. And this parcel was part of it. The container park next door, also part of that. And he built this whole facility here for purposes like today's Hero School. So we're lucky to be here, but they have some rules. And those rules are very consistent with everything I heard Tiger talk about this morning, because I was next door watching it live on the internet through YouTube. And that is, we have to keep this place clean. So however you find it, let's leave it the same way. There isn't anybody here to come clean up after us. We have to clean this up outside and inside ourselves at the end of the day. Also, I think everybody here went into the school next door, Larson, and we welcome, we encourage everybody to come to school. Everybody is on scholarship. We don't charge people. We have a campus in California, and people there pay $6,000 for 16-week course. But in Las Vegas, because of a lot of agencies and Hero School, we're able to, and Tony Shea, we're able to have people get to go to school for free. And I encourage you to investigate doing that. But we're going to have lunch now, and there are tickets at the door. Please get your tickets. Kim can help you back there. Thank you, everybody, for being here today and making this a success.